VIP.
Has COVID-19 made it hard to pay your rent or utilities? Are you worried about eviction? Get the help you need now. The California COVID-19 Rent Relief Program covers 100% of your unpaid rent and utilities to help you remain in your home. Apply for rent relief now and let your landlord know you've applied so you can avoid eviction. The application is fast and you won't be asked about citizenship. Apply today at housingiskey.com or call 833-430-2122. Sponsored by the state of California.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV.
And I'm the girl from that alien movie you watch on demand. Our worlds have been brought together thanks to DirecTV Stream.
Why are you whispering?
Because the alien will hear us.
Maybe let the alien know you can get DirecTV Stream with no annual contract.
He seems pretty excited by that, actually.
Introducing DirecTV Stream, the best of live TV and on demand with no annual contract. Get your TV together at DirecTV.com.
Requires high-speed internet, incompatible device. Content varies by package and location. Restrictions apply.
It takes two vaccines to help protect you this season, the flu and COVID-19. And now you can get both shots at the same visit. Learn more at cdc.gov/vaccines.
It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Presented by Timeless Coffee. This is the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
Look, it's a Tuesday morning, and I feel like it's going to be one of them shows. It's going to be one of them shows where it may get a little heated. It may get a little contentious. Now, there will be some Capri Suns and orange slices flying around for the Golden State Warriors as they take on Oklahoma City today. Oklahoma City is winless. The Warriors are undefeated. Should be a good one. Tip off at 5 o'clock, of course. You can catch the pregame show right here on 95.7 The Game starting at 3:30. Presented by Xfinity Sports Zone, the ultimate sports hub experience. But good morning to everybody out there on the roadways. It's dry today, so hopefully you're driving safe. Good morning to YouTube, the Roasters on YouTube, Roasters on Twitch, Langford Curley, and you, Joe Shaska, as the get back into the 49ers as the world turns with the 49ers. And we'll see if Trey Lance practices tomorrow. Jimmy Garoppolo's going to start on Sunday. I'm sure people got a lot of thoughts about that because the Niners talk yesterday, it was something else. It was something else, Joe Shasky. So where do we start here? Do we start with Shanahan? Do we start with Garoppolo? We got cuts from Peter King on DRK. He said a lot about Shanahan. It feels like it's going to be a heavy Shanahan show as everybody has honed in on the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers.
You know, he comes out yesterday and they ask him who's going to be the starter, and he names Jimmy Garoppolo the starter for this week. And, of course, myself included, everybody's like, oh, God, really? It's going to be shit. Man, you're going to go with Jimmy? Ugh. And then you start thinking about it, and I start going, well, maybe Trey Lance is legitimately hurt more than we anticipated. You know, originally they said, it's a small, short-term injury. Lance didn't even feel it himself. He's jumping around. I think it was game 5 of the Giants-Dodgers game. You're thinking, wow, maybe he's not hurt that bad, and then it lingers into this week, and I don't know. watching Seattle in terms of just seeing the results last night, because my internet was out, my cable was out yesterday, and I'm looking at Seattle, and I'm looking at the 49ers, and I'm lining up, what the Niners have, what Seattle has. And I know it feels very bleak. And believe me, I'm not happy. I'm not happy, Bonte. They could actually right the ship with it. I'm not saying within this year, because this year feels like one of those lost years, but they could right the ship. They just have to be bold and be willing to make a bunch of moves in free agency and I think before the deadline. And I think they can set themselves up. And how you finish this year is going to go a long way. I'm not sure where everyone else is on Kyle Shanahan this morning. I'm at the point now where I just kind of throw my hands up and I go, I'm just addicted to the suffering when it comes to this team in general. Let's see what happens, man. Let's just, I guess we'll just see Jimmy Garoppolo out there. I feel like this is the last Jimmy Garoppolo start.
I think it's the right move to start Garoppolo this Sunday. I really do.
Why?
Chicago's defense is for real. And I know they just got lit up by Tampa Bay. Everybody said, they got lit up by Brady. Well, everybody's getting lit up by Brady.
Brady's amazing.
Khalil Mack on one side, Roquan Smith, Hicks in the middle. This pass rush is ferocious. I'm not willing to throw Trey Lance. At this point, it was either start of week 1 or just ride it out and let him learn with the clipboard until later in the season. But with that knee, and we don't know what's up with that knee, whether it's a sprain MCL, sprain PCL, sprain ACL, I have no idea what's going on with the left knee of Trey Lance's. I just start Jimmy. Just say, you know what, you got to go with Jimmy. Because when I watched that game on Sunday, and I watched it back last night, and I'm saying to myself, this game wasn't on Jimmy. Jimmy was not good, but it wasn't just on Jimmy.
What was it?
It was a little bit of everything. Your DBs in pass interference.
There's no question.
You gave up 97 yards in pass interferences. All right? That's bad defense. That's bad coverage. Your linebackers are missing tackles left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Your defensive line outside of Nick Bosa got no pressure on Carson Wentz. No pressure. All right? Special teams. Brendan Ayuk muffing punts. All right? Guys not blocking. We saw the breakdowns yesterday with Brian Baldinger, who will join us at 7:30 this morning. He sent out a clip where Ayuk is wide open down the field on a double move on the safety. Turned him around. But Garoppolo can't get the ball off because Ross Dwelly can't hold his block. This team's not executing. They're not executing. They need all 11 on the same page. And all of the 11 guys on offense and defense is not working together. So I'm not Garoppolo was bad, but I'm not walking away from that game saying, damn, Jimmy lost the game. Nah, that's lazy talk.
Well,
Let's really break down the game. Let's really break down what happened. After that first drive, the misdirection stuff, you stop running you become basic. Elijah Mitchell in the running game's non-existent after the first quarter. There was a multiple of things happening in that football game that I said, yeah, Garoppolo was bad. But it ain't all on him.
No one's saying it's all on him.
That's the narrative.
Bonte,
that's a lot of people were saying, I don't want to see another step of Garoppolo.
Well, yeah, and I'm one of those people.
All right.
But this is where we're at. The NFL, you're not going to have perfect plays every single time. And sometimes your quarterback has to make plays. There was a play 2nd and 16 yesterday, or 2 nights ago. Carson Wentz, everybody's covered. The broken protection. And he has to just make a play with his legs. And he does. And that's Carson Wentz. He's not even one of the elite players
Carson
in the
Wentz
league.
was damn near an MVP a few years ago.
And he's
Carson Wentz was a number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, but
Carson Wentz
that's what
played
everyone has.
at a high level. We talk about Carson Wentz like he was an absolute bum. He was working himself back from an injury.
Which even more accentuates how far Jimmy Garoppolo is from everyone else in the league. Because Carson Wentz, you're right, B, he is a highly coveted athlete. But let's be real. There was only one team that was in the market for getting Carson Wentz, and people thought a first-round pick was an overpay. So, this is what your quarterback has to do. They have to make plays when there aren't there, and when there are plays presented to you, you got to execute. Yeah, it's not just Jimmy Garoppolo. No one's saying that. But one of the great equalizers is your quarterback, and especially in the league the way it is right now, these quarterbacks are willing their team into plays and making plays down the field. So, look, the 49ers right now, in terms of, approval rating, this was a presidential race, or maybe this was your local politician, approval rating this morning probably feels the lowest it's been since 2018 week 3 when Jimmy went down.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and And even then, their approval rating was high because it's like, damn, you just lost your quarterback. And it was the second year of the Shanahan era, and you're coming off a 5-0 finish with Jimmy Garoppolo, where you beat the Bears, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Titans, and then you end the season down in L.A. and beat the Rams JV team. Everybody's fired up going into 2018, and Garoppolo gets hurt week 3, and it was like, damn, the season's over. The season's over because you lost a quarterback. Now, right now, it feels like Shanahan. The floodgates have opened on Kyle Shanahan, which, look, I've been the hardest on Shanahan in this market. I've been hard on him, really hard on him. Been very critical of his head coaching style. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing, though, is a little unfair. Like, for example, is Shanahan on a hot seat? To me, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous to say. Shanahan's not on a hot seat. Just sign the extension. You just drafted your hand-selected quarterback.
Well, yeah, and we want to see that play.
And you got to give him time. You got to give him time. There's no hot seat. You don't just abort mission right now with all the injuries. You don't do that.
But I do think that he needs a reckoning in terms of him and Lynch as an organization, their philosophy on how they construct the roster. They need to divert from what they've been doing. Like, there's no other way around it. Look, Bonte.
Then you know what needs to happen?
Their secondary stinks. Would you agree?
You got to say bye-bye to Parag Marate then.
Well,
because that's part of the reason.
But it's also their particular philosophies on building a team. When we agree, the secondary is horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bad.
So if you just look around at the better cornerbacks in the league, where are they all going? Like, all of the best cornerbacks. It's very hard to find Richard Sherman in the 5th round. I'm just doing a quick search. You just, however you want to put it, PFF, rankings the last couple of years, Yair Alexander, Ramsey, Marlon Humphreys, just go right down the list. All the best cornerbacks in the league are top 40 to 45 picks overall.
No doubt.
And I look at what the 49ers have with their lack of draft capital right now, not just for this year, but into the future.
Next 2 years.
It's going to be really hard for them to find the kind of difference makers that they absolutely need in those spots because they haven't prioritized cornerback. And so we could talk about quarterback. It's the rest of the way that they've built this roster, to me, that's really hamstrung them. They have been nothing but 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks. It's safety and cornerback outside of the guys that were already here for the last 4 years. That philosophically needs to change from an organizational standpoint. They keep investing on the defensive line. The squeeze is not worth the push. Stop investing in the D-line and start investing in this secondary.
Well, it didn't last season. They get the quarterback.
Yes.
And they don't go defensive line. So they got their defensive linemen. I don't think they're going D-line in the first round for a long time.
Unless
they move up. Unless they move up from, the second round to the first round and go get Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon, and I'll go get him.
But they need to
prioritize. You wouldn't go get Kayvon Thibodeau?
But they need to prioritize edge rusher. Like right now, one of the biggest holes on this team is who plays opposite Nick Bosa. I thought Dee Ford was going to solve that. I thought Eric Armstead was going to solve some of that. And so they're just not getting the squeeze for the bang for the buck.
Hold on. I want to address something, and I don't want to derail the show, but 415, Bonte, you're such a company man. I ain't mad. Go ham from the soul sometimes. It's like, do you not listen to the show? Do you not listen to the show? Do you not hear me on a daily basis? Like, 415, be better. Come on, man. That's a lazy take. No time today. Today's a Tuesday, Detective Tuesday. We got no time today for lazy takes. We got no time for it. It's time to get to business, folks. Roll up the sleeves, and we're going to dive into what is going wrong with the 49ers. How can they fix this situation? I want to be a problem solver today, Shasky. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to say, the head coach stinks, the quarterback stinks, the defense stinks. How do they solve this problem? How do they rectify the situation?
I think the first step is you need to assess with people outside the building how they look at your roster. And if I just looked at the 49ers roster and I looked at the top 10 to 15 guys that are paid on the team, they're not your 10 to 15 best players. Only a handful of them are. And so to me, you need to kind of reset the financials on some of these guys, and you need to move off some of this dead weight. And they've got a ton of free agents coming up. They're going to have an expanded cap coming up. They'll have tons of money, but spending like drunken sailors in free agency kind of got them in this financial, situation that they're in right now. So they have to be more discerning.
Let's hear from Peter King. Peter King joined DRK yesterday, and he talked about the quarterback spot and whether or not Shanahan knows what to do with the quarterback spot. Hear from Peter King.
The bigger issue now is, I think you're basically 7 weeks and 6 games into this season. You have severe doubts about one quarterback, and it almost, I sensed, listening to Kyle Shanahan last night, I sense that he really doesn't know what to do about the quarterback situation.
And that's not good. That's not good. When you're paid as one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL, you got to know what to do at the quarterback spot. Now, you keep Jimmy Garoppolo around, and I get the sense, you want the old adage of having a veteran and let the rookie sit behind the veteran and all that stuff. I understand. I get all of it.
It
you
made
got both
sense.
quarterbacks. It made sense. But in training camp, Trey Lance outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo. He outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo. And now you're in a situation where it's like, I got a rookie quarterback who's banged up because I used him as a option quarterback against Arizona, and he's banged up. And I didn't run the same playbook as Jimmy Garoppolo. Now what do I do? Do I go back to the rookie against the Chicago defense and then Arizona next week, coming off a long week because they play on Thursday Night Football? Or do I go back to Jimmy?
You don't think the knee factors into this decision at all? Because to me, I think the knee absolutely factors into this decision.
We discussed this yesterday. The Niners don't release details on injuries. They hide things, like a lot of NFL teams. Yeah. They don't tell you the severity of an injury.
Upper body, lower body injury,
they
like
don't tell you. And I still can't find the play that Trey Lance sprained his left knee. I got people who was at the Arizona game. Producer over there at Warriors Pre-Post Game Live, John Sackey, was at the game. Said he looked at Trey Lance every single play. Never saw him limp. So when did it happen?
I don't know.
How did it happen?
I don't know.
What's the severity of the injury?
To me, that's part of the reason why they're playing Jimmy Garoppolo is the uncertainty on the knee.
Doubt.
I don't think it's just Jimmy gives us the best chance to win. I think it's Jimmy gives us the best chance to win because Trey Lance isn't 100%. And I get that. You want to be cautious with your star young quarterback that you're trying to develop.
Dr. Nirav Pandya tweeted this at me yesterday about the Trey Lance injury. It's a bit concerning that he hasn't practiced in over 2 weeks. There are such a wide range of injuries that fall into the category of knee sprain. So it is hard to determine severity without knowing what ligament is exactly sprained and to what extent. But tough for a mobile quarterback. Now, the report is yesterday that he's going to practice tomorrow, that he should be ready to go. But if this knee's not 100%, I don't want to play him. I don't want to play him at all. Because behind this offensive line,
I'm with you on that.
You need to move around and stuff like that.
Well, that's
I just play Jimmy. He's paying him $26 million, and there's no George Kittle. All right, you may not have Trent Williams. I'm not throwing my rookie into the wolves like that.
On the no Trent Williams thing, I actually think Jalen Moore did pretty damn good for a one-game tryout. I'd like to see him play right tackle and move McGlinchey. We're talking about doing different roster decisions. Like Alex Mack, it has been a failed experiment. The center position has been bad. I do not think that he's played good football this year. I think he would admit that. And you're not wrong. Like the knee, if it's not 100%, you do not put the kid out there.
No,
absolutely not. You don't put him out there. But when he is 100%, Bonte, I do want to see him play.
No doubt.
I do want to see him get those reps. And I want to see him start to build some synergy and work on some things in real time.
Let's go to Mondo in Fairfield. Mondo, what's happening? You're on our morning roast here on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, good morning, fellas. So, yesterday I called and, I said to blow it up, so I might have overreacted. So I went back to look at the tape and everything. So, you know what? I still put this on Shanahan. I was the first 15 plays, they were scripted, they were great, and then suddenly he just, goes off of that. We were coaches before, right? I don't know if you guys coached before or whatever. I know Shanty coaches. When I was a coach, my goal was to make at least someone better. And I really think he killed Garoppolo. He killed Garoppolo a long time ago. So he doesn't trust Garoppolo. Garoppolo doesn't trust him. That's one of the problems.
Yeah.
So that's why I always go back to, are we sure that this is the guy that could develop Trey? If you go back to the game he started, he ran him like he was Cam Newton. And you all know what happened to Cam Newton. I mean, that's all I got. And I'm not going to ask for blow it up, but I am going to hold Cal accountable. Sorry, I've been holding him accountable.
You have, Mondo, and thanks for the call, Mondo. You have held him accountable, and he should be held accountable. And there is something to that, where I remember Harbaugh used to put his arm around Alex Smith and tell him he's the greatest in the world, giving him that confidence because a quarterback, mentally, you got to get him right. I'll tell you a little, and this is on a very smaller scale. I was coaching high school football, and we had a quarterback, and I go back out there to Washington. They're playing Lincoln in the Bell game. And quarterback's just, he's been rattled all year. And I take him in pregame warm-up, Shask, and I'm saying, come on, let's run some boots. Let's just move around. All right, let's just make some easy throws. Let's just, just getting them mentally right. Making them feel good. Oh, man, great throw. Over-complimenting him. Guy had the best game of his career. Harbaugh did that all the time with Alex Smith. Alex Smith was beaten down, battered. And Harbaugh said, come here, young man. You're clutch. You're clutch. You're the best in the league. To Mondo's point, Shanahan hasn't done much of that with Jimmy Garoppolo. And you see all the reports, and I know it's a big boy league, and you got to have tough love, but sometimes you got to just say, hey, Jimmy, man, that was great. If I'm Jimmy Garoppolo and I hear my head coach complimenting Mullins, complimenting Beathard, flirting with Kirk Cousins, that would do something to me mentally. We're all human. And to Mondo's point, Shanahan hasn't done a lot of that with Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, he hasn't, and I don't think that's his personality. But I also don't chastise an individual for coaching the way they coach, because Dick Vermeil coached different from how Bill Parcells coaches, and Bill Walsh coaches very different from how Bill Belichick coaches. Kyle Shanahan is not the I'm going to uplift your spirit guy. That's just not who he is. Right. Now, should he incorporate maybe a little more of it and add a little softer touch? Yeah, I think in retrospect, we can all tell that the relationship between him and Jimmy Garoppolo, both parties, Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan, wish they could have a do-over. I 100% agree there. I do not think either party handled it brilliantly. And that's not to take anything away from either one of them. They both are culpable. Jimmy didn't live up to his end of the bargain, and I don't think that Kyle Shanahan has been a great teacher or a great support system, has built a great support system for Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no doubt.
888-957-9570. We'll talk some Warriors a little bit later. Kevon Looney is going to join us at 8 o'clock to talk about those Warriors. That puts a smile on my face when I think of Warriors basketball.
And Mondo was talking about blowing it up. I'm going to put out what I think the Niners should be doing, at least over the next couple of weeks as we approach the trade deadline.
Wow. Are we there yet, Niner fans? Do you really want to blow it up? Are we really there yet?
It's not blowing it up.
Blow it up, huh? 888-957-9570. Kevon Looney, 8 o'clock. Brian Baldinger, 7:30. We're going to have Braden Bishop on, the brother of Hunter Bishop. We'll talk some baseball and what they're doing for charity. It's a really good cause, 8:40. But I can't wait. It's going to be a fun show, folks. No, I'm sitting here talking slow, and it's always a little different than yesterday, but we're going to have some fun. Roll up the sleeves, baby. We're going to figure out how to fix the 49ers here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game, and that's coming up, brought to you by the Golden State Warriors. Dub Nation, the season is in full swing. Got your tickets yet? Don't miss out on the Warriors when they host the Memphis Grizzlies this Thursday during LGBTQ Night presented by Accenture. They'll then take on the Oklahoma City Thunder Saturday, all live at Chase Center. Visit Warriors.com for tickets now.
The 49ers season is falling off the tracks fast.
Whoops. And that's thrown into a bunch of white shirts and intercepted at the 15-yard line. Kyrie Willis comes away with it.
How are you feeling, 49ers faithful?
Shanahan, gotta go. Jimmy, gotta go. Because it's over. I got no confidence in Shanahan.
you have one of those airline credit cards, you're probably not earning double miles on every purchase.
You're right. My card only gets extra miles on some types of purchases.
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere.
Wait, but where can we use them?
You can use Capital One Venture Miles on any travel purchase.
Venture gets an A+.
Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Sponsored by Cars for Kids, the easy way to donate your car. Donate today and your car can be picked up tomorrow. Call 877-CARS4KIDS today or donate online at cars4kids.com. Remember, that's cars with a K.
Now, back to the morning roast, presented by Timeless Coffee with Bonte and Shasky.
This segment, is presented by Golden State Lumber and building materials for professional builders and contractors throughout Northern California. Visit goldenstatelumber.com. Warriors tonight at 5 p.m. Tip-off. 5 p.m. Warriors Live starts at 3:30 right here. I'll be on Warriors pre- and post-game live on NBC Sports Bay Area. We start at 4 o'clock. Should be a lot of fun to see the Warriors in Oklahoma City before a 8-game homestand. A franchise record 8-game homestand coming up for the Warriors starting Thursday.
Very excited. Very excited. I'm going to have to go to someone's house to watch the game because I have no internet and I have no Xfinity right now.
Yeah, what's going on in the hood?
Cable. Well, some poles came down and literally the electrical cord, I don't even know what the vernacular is, the vocabulary, but the electricity line from the street post to my house came knocking down, and we had a live wire underneath the cars yesterday when I came home, and it was just an absolute nightmare. All the electricity knocked out in the whole neighborhood pretty much all day. Electricity came back on, but all the Comcast, all the Wi-Fi, everything's knocked out. They're going to hopefully get it fixed, I'm hoping, today. So no TV in the Shasky household. Nothing.
Wow.
No Wi-Fi. I did not realize how connected my life is to the internet.
It's not easy.
For this.
It's not easy.
No, it's really hard. And so this is what I did. I'm going to be 100% honest with you here. I sat down with my dogs and stared out the window and thought about the 49ers. No, I'm serious. And this is what I did. And this is what I did. No, I'm serious. I said to myself, why is everybody so angry? Right? Why is everybody? And I got to this thing. We attached a ton of expectations heading into this year that if we really took a step back, probably were ridiculously unreasonable.
So what were the expectations?
Well, I just think Super Bowl, win now with Jimmy, and I think I understand where people were coming from. I just think it's so hard. It's so hard to run it back, to try to, we're going to recapture what we did in 2019. The NFL is really hard. That's number one. I mean, just say this out loud. Aaron Rodgers has been to one Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers. One of the greatest players the game has ever seen.
It's not easy getting to the Super Bowl, no doubt about it. Right? Steve Young only went to one Super Bowl as a starting quarterback.
Exactly.
Brett Favre went to two as a starting quarterback. It's really hard. Tom Brady is an outlier.
Totally.
Peyton Manning went to 3 Super Bowls, all right?
Patrick Mahomes, who has been amazing, is having a down year, quote unquote.
And you know what? Dan Marino, how many Super Bowls did he get to?
One. So winning's hard, is what I'm getting at.
Winning is hard, but getting to the playoffs and contending for playoff spots?
Well, that's what separates the really, really, really good teams from the teams that rise up and fall down. And I think that's really difficult. But I look at what's the common denominator? Like, Monte, you talk about making the playoffs every year. What are the teams that did that for a long time? It was the Steelers. It was the Patriots. It was the New Orleans Saints. Colts when they had Peyton Manning. And one of the things that I look at those organizations, they did a fantastic job moving off of people that they needed to move off of at the right time. Now, they all had a miss here and there, and they drafted really, really, really well. And they had a franchise quarterback that they built around over many, many years. And they had consistency with the coach and the GM. I think one of the worst things the 49ers could do right now is to panic and move, just at the top, move off of John Lynch, Peters, and Kyle Shanahan. I think that would be terrible now.
No, it would be awful.
They would set them back. They would have a new person come in.
It would be awful.
They'd reset everything. You don't even know if they have synergy with Trey Lance. The number one thing they need to do is remain the course. It's difficult, it's tough, but we got to see this thing through. I got to see Trey Lance, and I got to see Kyle Shanahan and Adam Peters and John Lynch work all together with Trey Lance as the quarterback.
Which is why I say firing Shanahan and him being on some hot seat is absolutely asinine.
Okay, so we're in agreement there.
Yeah, it's absolutely asinine. You do not move off of Shanahan.
Okay.
I don't think, and I'm hard on Shanahan.
Yes.
He's not going anywhere. No. Whether I like it or not, do I think you should fire him? No, unless it's some hotshot head coach like in Lincoln Riley or something. Now think about it.
Yeah.
But is Jet York going to want to eat that money?
No.
See what I'm going to, you know what I'm saying?
No.
I'm not firing Shanahan. I'm not firing John Lynch. You've got a lot of injuries. Let's put everything into perspective.
You do.
This has been a snake-bitten team. However, that excuse wears thin when you see the Colts come in, losing their safety in the middle of the week, Julian Blackmon.
I agree with you.
Not having T.Y. Hilton. Quentin Nelson just got back, and they go out there and roll you. So injuries, the excuses with the injuries can only last so long.
No, we're on agreement there. I mean, you got to win. You got to finally actually, give results. But here's why they're not. They made this crazy decision on DeForest Buckner, and I know everyone's losing their minds. Look, they probably kept DeForest Buckner and said, yeah, they probably should have. They probably should have. But I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, the reason that move sucks so much is because DeForest is a premium player, right? They're paying a lot of premium money for not premium players. And this is what the Pittsburgh Steelers, New England, the New Orleans Saints, they've been very shrewd on who they pay and who they move. There are 4 guys, in my estimation, moving forward that are completely untouchable for the time being. Now, this could change as we go forward, but it's Trey Lance, obviously the quarterback. You're not going to move off of him. I got to see what he is. It's Deebo Samuel right now because we haven't had a wideout to save our life. Now, look, he gets way more hurt than I want him to, but he's been awesome this year.
Don't forget about Deebo, too. Another thing with him is he's got a contract coming up.
Exactly.
He's got a contract coming up. After 2022, he's an unrestricted free agent. What are you going to do there? Because he's making $2 million this year.
And he's going to want to get
2.9, and he's going to want a big bump.
There's no doubt. And so this is where I'm saying you got to have your financials in order. So Trey Lance, Deebo Samuel. Opposite side of the ball, I'm going to go Nick Bosa. Now look, Nick Bosa, same thing as Deebo. He got hurt. Missed a huge chunk of 2020. There's no other way around it. Hurt his ankle in college and obviously has an injury history. There's risk involved. He's a premium player when he's healthy. I'm keeping him. And then the fourth guy that I absolutely am keeping, and he's having a down year this year, it's Fred Warner. I think he's a premium player. He's never hurt, which is on a team that's always hurt. Gotta love that. Now, who did I omit from that list, Bonte?
Ooh, I didn't hear George Kittle.
Well, there's a reason. I love George Kittle, and I think George Kittle is a
George Kittle.
Premium player. He is a premium player.
He's always hurt.
He's always hurt. He's always hurt.
14 touchdowns over the course of his career.
Now, I'm not saying I go out and I am trying to actively shop George Kittle. But what I'm saying is that one of the great trades that the Saints made that no one ever talks about was they moved off of Jimmy Graham years before anyone thought they should. And they got back a center and they got back a first-round pick in that deal. Now, in real time, people were like, I cannot believe you're moving off of Jimmy Graham. Did they skip a beat on offense?
No.
I mean, look, they didn't. They really didn't. Now, I think the 49ers obviously value George Kittle. I think George Kittle will probably end up staying a 49er. But if a team blows you away and says, we'll give you 2 firsts or a first and a second for George Kittle, I would do it. I would absolutely. As much as it would pain this organization, the fan base, as much people would be losing their mind, I'm not sure we haven't seen the best of George Kittle. He plays a physical brand of football, and I just have a hard time thinking that he's going to play 14, 15 games every single year moving forward.
George Kittle next season.
And I love him.
George Kittle next season, $16.1 million, $16.3, $18 million, and then $15.4. He's got 4 years left on the deal after this season. Now, if I pay a guy that much money, 16, 18, 15, I want him to be a red zone threat. Has George Kittle been a red zone threat for this football team?
No.
Has it been? Now, is it partly on the quarterback? Sure. Is it partly on the weapons around him? Sure. Probably sees multiple double teams. I'll give you that.
I agree with
you that.
both of those.
I'll grant you that.
Yes.
But he's not on the football field. I need my captain on the football field. Now, part of the reason why he hasn't been on the football field is because the quarterback has thrown high. Right? Last year in the season opener against Arizona, boom, gets cracked.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's reckless. He's a reckless player. You need that recklessness. You need that physicality.
Sure. And the tone setting.
And the tone setting. But can you rely on them to play 17 games a season? I don't know. Would I be in? Here's the thing. If Shanahan is a guy that we all thought he was a couple years ago, this quote-unquote offensive genius who could find talent and can make players better than what they are. Found George Kittle in the 5th round. Could he find another George Kittle in the 5th round, 3rd round, 2nd round? Like, I'm looking at the tight ends across the league, like T.J. Hawkinson. Travis Kelce, we already know about. We already know about Darren Waller. But I even saw Foster Moreau make plays for the Raiders this past Sunday.
Tight end, yep.
George Kittle has not had that impact in a long time. In a very long time.
Well, and this is a team, like, again, if you're looking at, you're worrying about resetting and getting some draft capital back, because that's the big thing on Jimmy Garoppolo. Can you get something back? You got to replenish what you lost when you go in a good Trey Lance. I'm not saying I do it. I'm just saying if someone blows you away, you might have to do it.
No doubt. No doubt. 888-957-9570. Clayton in Union City will get you on the other side. We got a cut from Baldy. Back when I was with Steiny and Guru, Brian Baldinger joined us in studio, and he said something that is going to blow y'all away. Stay tuned for that one here on the Morning Roast.
The Dubs pulled off the California sweep to start the season.
Curved by 28. Nails that one. First 3 ball of the year for the Warriors and for Stephen Curry.
heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer WetJet. With Swiffer WetJet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer WetJet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3?
Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm.
Snap-to-tail checkup is waiting.
But finding an ideal replacement takes some training.
This is like herding cats.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It takes two vaccines to help protect you this season, the flu and COVID-19. And now you can get both shots at the same visit. Learn more at cdc.gov/vaccines.
Breaking news on 95.7 The Game is powered by Odyssey and presented by BetQL. Become a better sports bettor. Get smarter to beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. Now, back to the Morning Roast, presented by Timeless Coffee with Bonte and Shasky.
Warriors Thunder tonight. Warriors Thunder. Warriors are back on the floor. Niners will be back on the field Sunday at Soldier Field on Halloween. They'll take on the Chicago Bears, who are 3-4. Niners trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Lost 4 straight games, including this past Sunday off the bye week to the Colts. 30-18. What about my Sharkies? What are my Sharkies doing?
They're playing the Predators.
Is that tonight or is that tomorrow?
No, it's tonight, Tuesday.
All right.
And then they come home for like 7 or 8 games.
I might have to go down to a Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I might have to go see if I got some time. Sharkies and Predators. Oh.
Look at your boy all over the schedule.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it. I pay attention. I mean, they're always playing the games in NBC, so I always take a look. 4-1 on
I think
season.
the great Kozimor was doing pre and post for
on the Sharks.
Yeah, Sunday's game.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Kozer? He was in studio.
I was tapped in.
He was on your screen at 10 in the morning. I was locked in.
See, you and me both.
Sharks Bruins, baby.
I don't know if that's a good visual at 10 in the morning.
No, he was dialed in, dude.
Was he shaved? Did he shave?
Oh, he looked great. And they gave up 3 goals in the first period, and then they were talking about how they could fight their way back into it. Correct, Stevie?
I was gone by that time. I was before the first intermission. I was gone. I'll be there on the 30th, though. Shout out to the Sharks.
415, trade Garoppolo for Deshaun Watson. What do you think, the Houston Texans are dummies?
I think
that dumb.
The conversation we were just having, people are going to take it away as me being hot takey, and I'm coming in with this like trade George. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying here is that there's 4 guys that to me right now, and we'll
are untouchable.
They're untouchable. Everyone else, I'd be open to at least exploring. If somebody called me, I'd listen. I'd listen to it. The 49ers are in no position.
What would you get for George Kittle?
I don't know. But I was looking at like just the roster for Seattle, right? I was looking at the roster for Seattle because I'm saying to myself, boy, they lost again last night. They're in last place. And I'm looking at the rest of the division, and it feels bleak this morning as a Niner fan. But I look at Seattle, and I'm like, they're losing Russ. They're losing Russ. They have nothing around. They have DK, who's a superstar. We all agree. But without a quarterback, I don't know how much that matters.
Yeah, 1 catch yesterday. The big catch, 84 yards. But that's about it.
And Lockett only had, I believe, 1 catch yesterday as well.
It was not good. Geno Smith is not good.
Right? So you look at it's Lockett, it's
Geno.
DK, and like Jamal Adams, who they traded a bunch of first-rounders, and they don't have a first-rounder. You're sitting there and you're like, Bobby Wagner's really up there in age. Right. Their roster's not great. So I know we look at the 49ers right now, we're like, oh my God, everything, the sky is falling, and I'm guilty of this. But like, as long as the Niners are discerning and they attack this offseason the way they should and sell off some of these pieces that aren't really helping them right now, they're going to be fine. They're going to be just fine. They just have to hit on Trey Lance. If they hit on Trey Lance, everything else works out.
Whew. Baldinger, 209. Where's the Baldinger sound, Bonte? Well, here it is. Back on August 9th of 2019.
Whoa.
Brian Baldinger walked into these studios with me, Steiny, and Guru. And he's talking about head coaches. He's talking about coaches. And we start talking about Shanahan and, who is Shanahan? And Baldy basically said some guys are head coaches and some guys are just coordinators. Check this out from August 9th, 2019.
I do think some guys are just coordinators, and then some guys are head coaches. Now, I know what his last name is. It remains to be seen if he's going to be a great head coach. I think he's an elite play caller. He's learned this. He's been around his dad and been around the thing his whole life. I think he understands how to, play action is his specialty. He's really good at it, really talented. Not everybody is a head coach. We got to wait. I don't know that he is yet. To be fair, nobody fumbled the ball or turned the ball over like the 49ers did last year. That's a function of coaching. I'm not putting it all on Kyle, but that always falls on the head coach. They were the worst team in the league in turnover ratio outside of Tampa last year. Everybody fumbled it. They couldn't hold on to the ball to save their life. It's a problem. And they couldn't take it away. So that always comes back to coaching.
That was Baldinger, August 9th, 2019. And he said back in 2019, now, of course, the Niners went on and go to the Super Bowl and lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 54. That was in August 9th, 2019.
Wow.
And he wasn't sure whether or not Shanahan was a head coach or a coordinator. And he talked about the turnovers. And when we think about the turnovers this season, this team turns the ball over.
They're -7 in differential. That is the 4th worst in the entire NFL. Let me read you the three teams worse than them.
Go ahead.
Jets, Jags, and your Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow. And that doesn't even include, to my knowledge, turnover on downs.
No, it does not. It's just how many interceptions and fumbles do you get versus how many you give up.
And then you think about the turnover on downs.
So wait, and last year they were dead last with the Denver Broncos.
And Baldy said that's a function of coaching. A function of coaching. So is Shanahan a head coach or just a good offensive coordinator?
It's a very interesting question. I also thought when he was bringing that up, did you notice that he brought up play action?
Yep.
Why did that intrigue you when he brought it up? Because I thought of something right away.
Well, play action, you think about the Shanahan staple with the outside zone, the stretch game, and then they run the boot action off of it. And once teams kind of know, like, okay, they love the play action, and you're play actioning with quarterbacks who aren't mobile, who aren't threats to run, who aren't threats to scare anybody on a perimeter. That's what I started thinking about. And then I started thinking about Trey Lance saying, man, you didn't really play him under center in the Arizona game where you could have ran a lot of that play action and got him out there on the perimeter. Like that staple of his game is kind of missing here.
Well,
it's missing.
I think just drop back, stay in the pocket throwing is missing from the Shanahan offense. Let me read you what Jimmy Garoppolo did in the last game with play action. Bonte, out of play action in the game against the Colts. He was 8 of 11, 126 yards, and a touchdown. It's pretty good.
Not bad.
It's pretty good.
Not bad.
Now, with no play action, here's Jimmy Garoppolo. 8 of 16, 55 yards, 2 interceptions.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
I mean, 2 years ago, before 2019, Baldy diagnosed they're really good out of play action, but they can't,
do anything else. They can't do anything else.
It's kind of crazy.
Is that on the coaching?
I don't know.
Or is that on the player?
Well, I mean,
is it on the design of the play, or is it on the execution?
Or is it on the quarterback seeing the field? I don't know.
We're trying to solve problems here with the 49ers.
Well, we've all seen the video that's now circulating around the internet of Brandon Ayuk wide open, Mohamed Sanu wide open, of Deebo Samuel open, and Jimmy reluctant to throw it.
I will say the Ayuk play wasn't on Jimmy. It was on Ross Dwelly not holding his block. You need a couple seconds there. You need a couple seconds to let that go.
But the one thing that Trey Lance showed me in the game against Arizona, and he's hurt right now, but he made plays when there were free releases by defenders. He stepped up and made plays.
Well, he's able to move around.
Exactly.
Garoppolo can't move around. He's never been like that. He's never been that guy.
But the thing that he brought up about...
Which is sad, because when you think about it, knowing who Garoppolo was, and you invest $137 million in Jimmy Garoppolo, and yet you don't build up the offensive line to protect him, to keep him in the quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New England Patriots knew Tom Brady. Heck, the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts, they knew Peyton Manning. They're not mobile. They're not going to move around. They'll slide in the pocket, but they're not going to move around and run outside the pocket and make plays. So you know what you do? You build up your offensive line to protect them. The 49ers have done a poor job in building up their offensive line and protecting Jimmy Garoppolo. That's terrible.
So the other part of this is the turnovers, right? And you're 100% right about the protection. But like, how do you delineate the blame, if you will, for the turnovers? Because I think there is a correlation between quarterback play and turnovers. I'm not saying it's everything, but Jimmy Garoppolo and the rest of the Niners who have been quarterbacks under Shanahan, they're sloppy. They just turn the ball over in the pocket on fumbles a lot, and they turn the ball over down the field a lot. Like, I look at the teams that consistently are at the top of the league.
Right.
Drew Brees when he was there with the New Orleans Saints, Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay, obviously Tom Brady when Tampa and New England. Those quarterbacks just don't turn the ball over.
No.
You know, and
even Derek Carr doesn't turn the ball over. Derek Carr don't turn it over.
And if you're going to be reckless, you got to give me the splash plays. That's like, at least Kansas City, they're reckless this year. They'll give you the splash play. It's the check down that they refuse to throw.
And you're not getting that right now. 888-957-9570. We're here now. Is Shanahan a head coach, or is he just a coordinator? I'm going to play this cut one more time for the 7 o'clock crowd.
Now, this is 2 years ago.
This is August 9th, 2019. Brian Baldinger walked into the studio here at 95.7 The Game, where Darryl the Guru Johnson, Matt Steinmetz, and yours truly, Bonte Hill. And he discussed who Shanahan was. Who is he? Is he a head coach, or is he a coordinator?
I do think some guys are just coordinators, and then some guys are head coaches. Now, I know what his last name is. It remains to be seen if he's going to be a great head coach. I think he's an elite play caller. He's learned this. He's been around his dad and been around the thing his whole life. I think he understands how to, play action is his specialty. He's really good at it, really talented. Not everybody is a head coach. We got to wait. I don't know that he is yet. To be fair, I mean, nobody fumbled the ball or turned the ball over like the 49ers did last year. That's a function of coaching. I'm not putting it all on Kyle, but that always falls on the head coach. They were the worst team in the league in turnover ratio outside of Tampa last year. Everybody fumbled it. They couldn't hold on to the ball to save their life. It's a problem. And they couldn't take it away. So that always comes back to coaching.
And now they're in the bottom of the league when it comes to turnover ratio. Last year they were dead last. They just haven't been good at taking care of the football. And we're not even counting turnovers on downs. How many fourth downs have they not converted?
There's no question.
Turnovers on downs. They don't even do that. What were they, 1-5 in Arizona?
Yeah. I think he's a head coach. I do not think that he's just a coordinator. I think he's a head coach.
What makes you think he's a head coach?
Well, because
right
and again, I'm not some professional coach. I just know coaching. And when you have good players, you look like a great coach. If we flip-flop LaFleur and Shanahan right now, Shanahan would have a great record. He'd have an unbelievable record. You know why? Because Aaron Rodgers is freaking great. When you have great players, it makes your job easy. Is Belichick ever Belichick if he doesn't find Brady? I don't think so. Like, I do think the first couple that they won, they minimized Brady, but we've kind of figured it out that Brady, he worked his you-know-what off to get to be the greatest of all time. It didn't just come overnight. He wasn't, handed all of these skills. The guy outworked everyone to get where he's at. There is something to be said. I do think, look, not every coach is great, but I think Kyle is a really, really good coach. He's not Mike Singletary.
He hasn't proved it yet.
Oh, hey, look.
He hasn't proved it yet,
It's fair to scrutinize. This is where I think personnel Kyle has done in head coach Kyle.
Well, look. Think about head coach Kyle, and you are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM and HD1 San Francisco, and Odyssey Station, brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
He's his
As
own
we're talking
worst enemy.
49ers, Brian Baldinger will join us at 7:30. Like Bill the Beast, just text me, right? Shout out Team Hennessy. North Turner 2.0, who needs a class in clock management in a KCL watch. Look, clock management has been bad. We just saw it against Green Bay. 37 seconds left. Is that on the quarterback or the head coach? Both of them have to be aware of the clock, knowing that Aaron Rodgers is on the other sideline. Clock management with Shanahan has been atrocious. Atrocious. Sean McVay's got his little clock guru. They're great in the 2-minute. Look at all the 2-minute drills that the Niners have run before halftime. They look depressing. There's no sense of urgency.
Is that because of the lack of faith you have in the quarterback, or that's just on Kyle?
It's both.
Because to me, when I hear
both
that,
can be true. Both could be true.
I agree. I think at times he's a little lost in the moment. There's no doubt he's looking in the play sheet. But I also think it's oh man, does the risk outweigh the reward? Does the reward outweigh the risk? Like, I do think that he in his own brain is like trying to compartmentalize what's best for the entire team because he doesn't have 100% faith in
Well, you know what I said to that?
in Jimmy.
As one of the head coaches, you look at Belichick. You look at
Belichick's
Parcells,
super conservative.
Parcells, Jimmy Johnson, the great coaches, Dan Reeves, the great coaches, Mike Shanahan, like all these groups, Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks.
He did.
3 different quarterbacks.
It was a totally different era.
It was a different era, but you know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of vibe here where it's like, if he's not your guy, move on. And that's on the head coach and the decision maker, Kyle Shanahan. If you didn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to run a 2-minute drill in Super Bowl 54 against that Kansas City defense, that was putrid. Putrid. They just outscored everybody that run. They were down 24-0 to the Texans. Couldn't stop a nosebleed. Couldn't stop the Titans. They just outscored everybody. You didn't trust Jimmy to run a 2-minute drill then. Why'd you keep him around for the next 2 seasons? That, to me, is on Shanahan.
Well, they did throw a deep bomb that got called back by George Kittle.
You know why?
OPI.
Because on 3rd down, they hit a little check down to Jeff Wilson Jr., and he made something happen. It was like, oh, now we can start cooking on a 2-minute drill. They were very content on that drive to just run the clock out and go into the locker room with a tie game.
And you and I were disagreeing in real time.
I was
on
irate.
That. I know.
I was irate.
And what did I say?
That's scared money. Stop coaching scared.
Yeah, but I thought keeping Mahomes from touching the ball again was the right move.
You're going to win the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, score 20 points?
Well, you just want to minimize his touches.
You double up on him. You double up.
I think
You're
it's
starting
easier
to move
said
the ball.
than done.
You were starting to move the football. How many great teams sit there, 2-minute drill, 3 timeouts? Like,
but they had a better. They were led by their but they were led by their defense.
Yeah, but
they weren't a quarterback-driven team.
Shasky, I don't care. Go out there and go score. You got to score, man.
I mean, of course you got to score.
It's
in that particular circumstance, the Super Bowl, I was okay with them trying to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands,
and it didn't work out.
And you know,
and it didn't work out.
And you're
for you.
right.
No, but that's football. Anybody who's been watching football you watch a lot of football. How many? Joe Burrow. He's got 1:50 left on the clock and 3 timeouts.
But Jimmy's not Joe Burrow.
I don't care, Shasky. You got weapons. And that defense on the other side, you got to be thinking like a killer.
You can't play reckless with Jimmy.
Shasky, you have to be thinking like a killer. The Kansas City Chiefs have a terrible defense. And I'm saying, I'm Kyle Shanahan. My offense is going to score on these guys. Steve Spagnuolo is not stopping me. I don't care if I do have Jimmy. We just had a drive, and we're averaging 7.5 yards a pop. And you see that 2-minute drive, not only in Super Bowl 54, we see it in every single game now with the 49ers right before halftime.
I don't subscribe to that. My philosophies are exactly the same regardless of who's at quarterback and regardless of the setting of that game and who I'm going up against. I just think there was a feel involved in it, and I leaned with them on the field. Now,
they just
playing
scored.
The results, they were wrong.
The Niners had just scored.
But we're going over old stuff.
No, but I'm saying it's a byproduct of what's been going on with Kyle Shanahan.
No,
as the head
but this
coach.
is why they made the move to go
He
get
hasn't
Trey
been a
Lance.
head coach.
This is why they made the move to go get Trey Lance so they can have someone that he does trust, which was the hard part for me to kind of contextualize. Well, then why the hell are you running him and not throwing him so much? Why is he not under center as much? There's a lot to pick apart here on Shanahan.
There is.
I mean, look, and when you lose 4 in a row, it's fair game.
Well, not only 4 in a row, but you may be heading to your 4th losing season in 5 years.
Ugh.
Peter King joining Damon and Ratto yesterday.
What he said.
Right here on 95.7 The Game. Here's what he had to say about the Niners possibly having 4 losing seasons in 5 years.
If you have your 4th losing season out of 5, even if there is the promise of tomorrow with Trey Lance, it's just not good enough. And, then you're going to have to wonder what other moves can they make to turn this team around right now. And on the unexpected part of it, too, how are you going to help your defense? So to me, I just think it's a worrisome time. And listening to Kyle Shanahan after the game last night, you really got the sense that he doesn't have the answers either.
Wow. Well,
He's coming off a loss. That's a frustrating way to lose in the rain. I mean, he looked, Bonte, he looked like he'd been hitchhiking for 5 days straight.
Don't do this.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
Don't do this.
We take these screen caps of these coaches immediately after a game. What do you mean, don't do this?
Don't do this. Don't do this.
Don't do what?
He looked lost at the podium Sunday night.
I would have been looking lost too if Carson Wentz had just beat me and I'm sitting there going like, dude, I dialed up plays. We didn't make plays. My guys couldn't block. My quarterback couldn't throw downfield. Like, I mean, the coach isn't out there actually playing. His cornerbacks are tackling everyone.
What about the challenge? Any excuse for the challenge?
The challenge, their entire explanation for the challenge made zero sense. Look, Bonte.
So where we at? I want to know where the roasters are.
The Niners have me tapped out at this point.
And I'm not tapped out.
I know, but I'm tapped out.
I'm all in.
I'm done trying to rationalize and criticize every little decision. It's like I have to wait.
This is what we do.
Because I have to wait to see Trey Lance. At this point, I'm so over any analyzing of Jimmy and Kyle. We have done so much of it. I'm gonna just reserve my judgments for when I see Trey and Kyle together and how that goes from there. Because clearly the coach doesn't like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Should have again.
They should have.
He hasn't liked Jimmy Garoppolo for 3 years, and he's still here. That's on the coach. That's on the coach, Shasky. It's on Shanahan at this point. We know who Jimmy is.
You're right.
Javier in Tennessee, what's happening? You're on a morning roast here on 95.7 Game.
Good morning, Vontae Shasky.
What's up?
How are you? Shanahan I was on board, comes back from a great lineage from his dad, thought he's going to come in, might be the second coming of Jesus, you know what I'm saying, bring us a Super Bowl. He's just proving us that he's another McDaniel, just an offensive-minded coordinator, and that's the only thing he's going to be. It's time to clean house, trade him, get some draft picks. It's time to clean and rebuild.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, Javier. I can't do this.
No one wants to rebuild. I do think that you could trim a lot of the fat. You could trim a lot of the fat.
Well, if you rebuild,
but you do that
Shasky,
every year in the NFL.
You do that. If you rebuild, Shasky, then you clean up everything.
Well, time out.
You blow it up if you rebuild. If you rebuild, you need a new regime.
No, we're not rebuilding. You have a brand new quarterback.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's a rebuild. They're doing a rebuild right now, even though no one wants to admit it. When you draft a quarterback number 3 overall and trade your next couple of picks, you're essentially saying we're rebuilding. We've got about 5-7 guys that we think are carryovers. Every year in the NFL, 25, 30 dudes on your team can rotate in and out every single year. The league itself is constantly resetting. You're already in a reload. That's already what you're doing. You're just, have a couple of holdover pieces.
888-957-9570. The Morning Roast sponsored by Timeless Coffee. Brian Baldinger will join us in 19 minutes. 19 minutes. And discuss some 49er football. And we'll get to Kevon Looney. Loon. It's going to join us at 8 o'clock to talk some Warriors hoops. I can talk Warriors hoops all day long.
Yes.
That's an organization that walks around and carries themselves with great pride, humility. I haven't seen that from the 49ers. And now the floodgates have opened. Niner fans are happy. And the topic of conversation is Kyle Shanahan. Does Shanahan have the answers? Can he fix this? Can he fix what's going on right now with the 49ers? 888-957-9570. Do you have any faith in Shanahan fixing what is going on in San Francisco? Your call's next here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
Check out Willard and Dips. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
How many inches, Mark? I want to know how many inches.
That's an inappropriate question.
Well, it's not on a day like this because I know that you got more than I got. We had a bucket outside the garage, and I think we got about 8 inches of rain yesterday at our Oakland home. So I want to know out there, how many inches?
Not 5, not 6, not 7. Listen to 95.7 The Game on your smart speaker. Just say, hey Google, or hey Alexa, play 95.7 The Game.
Sports fans, what is...
Bonte and Shasky.
Segment it is presented to you by Mimecast. Safeguards your organization against phishing, business email, compromise, and risk of ransomware. Visit Mimecast.com. That's MIMECAST.com. Don't forget to download the Odyssey app, the new Odyssey exclusive station on the Odyssey app, brought to you in part by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar. Is this what you found on the Odyssey app?
Yeah, this is Nightmares on Wax with You Wish, and I found that on the Odyssey exclusive station on the 90s and Chill playlist.
Ooh, I like this.
Robin Forte did the Players Club did this.
Yeah, Pretty Little Day with
this.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. That one song, it was a one-hit wonder that no one remembers, but Be My Sugar Time, Sugar, Baby, Come My Lady. You remember that?
No, not really. Can you play that for me? Come on, lady.
Sugar
I want to
Ray
hear that.
And what was it?
Yes. I can't remember the band.
Come my lady, come
Yes.
my lady.
Yeah. That was actually cool.
That band.
That wasn't bad.
Can't remember. It was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
It was like one was like Lift or something. What was the name of that group?
Ain't nothing wrong with a great one-hit wonder. When I think of one-hit wonders, I think of Hurricane Chris.
Oh, I thought you were going to say...
Hey, baby.
I thought you were going to say Kyle Shanahan was the one-hit wonder. That's where I thought you were going. What makes a great head coach? Because we've been talking about Kyle Shanahan pretty much all morning, and I look around the league, and there's a lot of people that we file under the great head coaches. Who are right now? Who are the current great head coaches?
Bill Belichick.
Okay. Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll's fading a little bit.
So he's lost his fastball?
I put my boy Bruce Arians up in there.
Okay.
I put Mike Tomlin.
I'm with you on that.
Put Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
John Harbaugh.
Okay.
John Harbaugh's a very good coach.
Uh-huh.
Sean McDermott's rising up the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. I'm gonna wait on Mike McCarthy. I'll wait on him. I think he's getting better though as a head coach. I do think he's getting better as a head coach.
I'm surprised you put him so quickly on the list.
Sean Payton.
Okay. Yes.
Sean
absolutely.
Payton's a very good coach.
What's the common denominator for most of those guys?
Good offensive minds, offensive coaches, a feel for the game, clock management, knowing how to control a locker room, and situational football.
What about quarterback?
Got to have a quarterback, no doubt about it. But
because John Harbaugh was on, but he was on the hot seat after the Flacco years were down.
But he had Flacco, and he won a Super Bowl with Flacco.
No, I know he did, but he was on a big time hot seat.
He won a Super Bowl with Flacco. I can't be mad at that. Bruce Arians is very good with Arizona. And would you say Carson Palmer's a great quarterback?
I think when he got
category.
him, yeah, he was good.
He's in a good category.
I would say Carson Palmer is head and shoulders better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right?
Yeah, it's not even close.
And that's kind of where. So I guess the skills that you're looking for.
By the way, the band was Crazy Town.
Crazy
Not Sugar
Town.
Ray.
It wasn't Sugar Ray.
Text line. Shout out to the text line.
Thank you, text line. Weak bands from the 90s.
McVay. And this is something
McVay, absolutely.
you, Kate, and I argued with all last season. When everybody said, man, you jock Sean McVay. Sean McVay's adjusted, and he's evolved. And Sean McVay's a damn good coach. And I bet you Niner fans right now would rather have McVay than Shanahan.
Would McVay have made Jimmy Garoppolo a better quarterback?
He would have got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. He would have moved off him.
You think that's him, just him, or Les Snead and the GM,
all
the
of
owner? Because their owner's bold. They've made a lot of bold
Stan Kroenke's bold
moves.
Stan Kroenke's bold. Les Snead is bold.
Yeah, I'm probably
and
with
they've
you.
gotten rid of all those first-round picks.
I think he absolutely would have. But I think that organization tends to move way quicker than the Niners.
They realize they're in a different market in L.A.
For sure.
And you got to win over that fan base.
And their owner is just different.
But McVay was like, look, man, I'm not feeling golf. And the minute he had the opportunity to go get Stafford, they went out and got rid of Goff and said, we're not bringing him back. Now, you get a veteran so you don't have to draft a rookie, no doubt. But this is where the Niners made the mistake. They should have moved off Garoppolo in August.
So if you were to say that Kyle Shanahan is strictly an off, I'm not saying that's what you're saying, Bonte. If a person was making that argument, what are the skills that he's lacking to being just a head coach? Like, because we say, management. You're just an OC, but you're not a head coach.
Clock management.
Okay.
Situational football.
Uh-huh.
Adjusting in-game adjustments.
Okay.
After the scripted plays, where's the creativity?
Okay.
Where's the creativity? It's alarming that his record is so bad. He hasn't won a game yet as a head coach when the Niners have fallen behind by 10 or more in the second half.
That to me is the most, if I was looking for the biggest indictment on quarterback, because that quarterbacks make their money throwing back into games.
No doubt.
The great ones do. Like Dak Prescott is a great example. How many times last year before he got hurt where these guys, they're down 20 and he's just
coming
throwing,
back.
And he's balling.
He's coming back.
That's a quarter. Like to me, I know we go head coach. That's got a lot of quarterback influence.
It does have a lot of quarterback influence, but also you need trust in a quarterback to do that.
You know what?
The sense of urgency.
I agree there.
When you do fall behind has not been there for the 49ers.
Okay, so what are the other skills that you would say about someone who's just an OC and not a head coach? Because you said clock management, adjusting in game. I agree with those.
You got to have your hands on everything. Special teams, defense.
Okay.
Special teams has not been good for the 49ers.
It's hard to argue that. You're
Punt
right.
return game, kick return game, field goal kicking.
Yeah.
None of that stuff has been good
or punt
for the
coverage.
49ers. All right? And he stays away from the defense, which a lot of offensive coaches do, right?
Yeah.
A lot of offensive coaches stay away from the defense. Shanahan has no part in the defense.
So for me, I think the one area that I think that he could take a lot of the things that you're saying and kind of eliminate those he needs to reduce some of his personnel decisions.
There's no doubt.
I think look, at the end of the day, do I want my head coach having final say on the 53? Of course I do. He's the one who's going to use these guys on game day. But what ends up happening is that these coaches, for example, they find themselves in these situations where they need to win now, and the coach wants to win this week. Well, what does the GM want to do? If you're the GM and you're looking at the big picture, you're trying to win year after year after year, whereas the head coach is so locked in on the day-to-day grind.
Right.
Look at Kyle Shanahan's face in that postgame. Bonte, he looked like a man who had just got airlifted out of like Donner Pass after snow collapsed on his vehicle. I mean, he looked like he had been stranded in a desert.
We've seen this look quite often this season.
I know. So what I'm saying is that I think Shanahan, the personnel guy, is so worried about winning the next game that he's doing a disservice to Shanahan, the overall head coach for 2021, 2022, 2023, because some of these decisions are head-scratching if you just take a step back.
The coach has to take accountability, man. I mean, this is where we got into it yesterday, where I'm just tired of blaming Jimmy. We know who Jimmy is. Jimmy has regressed. So you go get your guy, you move the picks. Jimmy gets outplayed in training camp. Play the kid. He overthought the whole entire situation and mismanagement right off the rip. He's mismanaged the situation. Oh, we're going to play both quarterbacks. We're going to rotate both quarterbacks. We're going to do this, and we're going to do, just play the kid. You're the head coach. You're the personnel decision. You have wasted 6 games now. And you've got a dinged-up quarterback now. You got a dinged-up quarterback, knowing that Jimmy, he's going to get hurt, he's going to be limited, and he's lost his confidence under you. Jimmy has lost his confidence in this offense.
I can't deny anything that you said.
And the fact, real quick, Shasky,
yes, yeah.
The lack of a backup quarterback, the prior seasons knowing that Jimmy was going to be hurt, that was bad. They took C.J. Beathard in the third round of their first draft. C.J. Beathard in the draft that had Mahomes and Watson, franchise players.
I'm not going to argue with you on backup
and then you wrote with Nick Mullins, and you sold to this fan base that Nick Mullins could run your offense. And people out here actually believed Nick Mullins can do what Jimmy does.
Well, look, I'm not going to argue with you on that. But I'll just say, let's take it. I think you're undervaluing the importance of quarterback because I'm seeing what the Seattle Seahawks.
No, I'm not.
I'm seeing the Seattle Seahawks last night. You're telling me DK becomes DK with Geno Smith throwing to him the last couple years?
There's no doubt Geno Smith stinks.
They look non-functional. They look like they might not win a game the rest of the year.
Look, my biggest beef with Shanahan.
And Carroll's going to the Hall of Fame. He is the only coach outside of Jimmy Johnson to win a national championship in college and a Super Bowl.
All right. One thing about quarterbacks. I love quarterbacks. It's the most important position in all of pro sports. Been telling you that for years. Go get your guy. That's been my number one knock on Shanahan.
And they got him
the entire time. In year 5. In year 5.
It's a little late for my liking.
It's big time late.
It's a little late for my liking, but they got him.
No margin for error. You have no margin for error.
I'm with you.
And you put the Niners in a bad spot to where Jimmy does get hurt when you know he's injury prone, and you still don't go get a quarterback.
Bonte,
I'm
with you on that.
This guy made us watch Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard, dog.
Well, he was trying to run it back from the Super Bowl.